you so much for making it over. You know, the very first time we did it, we lost like 20% of the people. I don't know where they went, but I'm glad that we all made it. Once again, if it's not too much effort, we'll all scoot forward by 7.4 inches. I don't know what it is about Kirtan. You know, in yoga classes, people like run to the front, but maybe it's just. Actually, I don't know. If you're sitting in the back, I'll come talk to you. Okay. Yes. So, for those of you who are familiar with our events, you know that we like to infuse a little bit of wisdom into our Soulfest. And the reason we do that is because Bhakti Yoga is such a thorough yoga system. It's not just something you go into the studio and practice. It's something that you can practice in your day-to-day life, in your realizations and the way you interact with society. There's so much to it. Yeah, thank you so much. I was like looking at it and like, oh shoot, I forgot. I was gonna go up and do it. So the reason this is so special is because we have Jasper giving the talk. And as you can see, he recently graduated from college, but at the same time, yeah. In fact, a little bit about Jasper. He's probably more consistent to these events than I am, which is kind of crazy. So, to the point where on May 21st, I believe, we had like this big meditation kirtan in Seattle with like 300, 400 people, and that was, I think, the day before his graduation or something like that. And you know, the day before your graduation, you're typically out with friends doing a bunch of things, but he drove the hour all the way to Seattle to play bass in that kirtan. So that just shows his level of commitment to the practice of bhakti. And again, we're very grateful that Jasper is here. And just recently, a few weeks back, he led his first kirtan at Bhakti Studio, and now he's going to be giving his first talk. And he's going to be sharing some of his realizations, his journey on spirituality, on bhakti, on his life so far. And I'm really excited, honestly, because this is the first time I get to hear it from him. So, the mic's over to you, and yeah, take it away.
Thank you, Alan. Mic check.
Mic check. There we go. Thank you all for being here. This is kind of this run from I've only been doing bhakti for about a year, maybe that, and I've also had some internal struggles with consistency and with my faith, and I'm sure you all have too, and I'll get to that. But I first just wanted to go over, whoops, please, okay. My story about bhakti yoga started in New Zealand. I was studying abroad, and I had attended a talk with the Swami, Government Swami, and the local yoga studio had, made a whole event at the university and did kirtan afterwards, and I sought it out because it felt good, and it just so happened that the kirtan leader there played bass, and so did I. She's like, well, I can play the harmonium now. You can have a bass. And he just happened to know someone who knew Ian in Seattle, and so here I am. And these slides will just have some random pictures from New Zealand because I couldn't figure out what else to put, but they're beautiful. But to start, I'm going to ask you a question about faith. How many of you have stayed consistent with a faith your entire life, no days off, no bad days, ever? Really? No, I'm kidding. No, it's just that goes to show that it's virtually impossible to stay consistent. But I'll be going into why and how that is and what we can do about it in this talk. But to get, this is a little different in this wisdom talk. We're going to do a little group activity. Turn to a neighbor, 3 or 5 or 7, or you can do a whole discussion without me, I don't care. But just talk some of these questions, get the brainwaves going, of what's the first word that pops in your head when you think of faith, other ways that faith can be interpreted, and how linear is consistent is faith. And we kind of got a hint of how consistent it is, but yeah, turn to your neighbor and say hi.
Sorry,
What's your first word that you think of? Give it about 20 more seconds. Alright, let go just a little bit. Bring it back. Say temporary goodbye to your neighbors. So, give me a shout out of just some of the words that you guys said. Of the first question, just shout them out. Hope. Belief. Peace. Trust. God. Yeah, I like that. A lot of variety. What are some other ways that faith can be interpreted? Faith in your friends, yeah. Community? Yeah, I like that.
Being intentional.
Intentional, I heard that word a lot. It was very nice. And how linear is it? I'm hearing seeing a lot of shaking heads. Yeah, that's good. So, here are some of the words that I thought. It's belief, devotion, form of practice, and maybe a harder one is gut feeling. You ever have a gut feeling of faith? Yeah. So this next part is gonna break it down a little bit, and it's: have you ever had a conversation with someone and you leave that conversation feeling with a sense of wonder, feeling with a sense of enlightenment, just feel like your brain exploded? Yeah, I'm lucky to have a friend like that, and every time we talk, it's just my brain exploded. And we had so many coincidences happen when we talk. But she shared this quote with me inside a sermon of her church, and I just resonated so much with it. Faith is better understood as a verb than a noun, a process and a possession. It is an on again, off again, rather than a once and for all. Faith is not being sure where you're going, but you're going the right way. A journey without maps. Paul Tillich said that doubt isn't the opposite of faith. It's an element of faith. Let's give me a second to digest that. So, we'll break it down into the three parts. Faith as a verb, as a process rather than a noun, as a possession. A state of turbulence versus a smooth flight. Or doubt being integral and crucial to faith instead of being aloof. And not being sure where you're going, but anyway, I'm at this journey. When I was trying to type mapless, it kept thinking I was trying to take maples at the tree. I have to tell it, add to dictionary, please. So, faith is a verb. What's the definition we usually get when we think of noun? Person. does faith seem like a person? Like the idea of it. Like, not symbolically, but that doesn't really feel like a person or a place. Sure, symbolically, faith can be a place, but that leaves thing. And faith doesn't really feel like a thing to me. I feel it's probably the closest, but it just doesn't seem right. I think I should like update the definition of noun. Like the thing that isn't person or place isn't automatically a thing, right? But what about love versus place or thing? Thing probably in the whoops. Yeah, love is also a noun, but we use it in different contexts. We use it as a verb and an adjective. I love that. That's a verb. That's lovely. That's an adverb or an adjective. So can we apply this to faith? I think so. I can't replace it with love in the grammatical sense. I can't say, I faith that. That's faithly, right? The grammar doesn't do the meaning words justice sometimes. But faith can't be restricted into just a concept or a thing. It's something to be explored. And it's not something you have, it's a process. It's not a possession. And when you explain the process, as I'm attempting to do now, it's not a definition, it's a description because of its multifaceted nature. I'm really bad at bullet points. So what about a mapless journey? The unknown is scary, right? It's good to step outside your comfort zone, but it's also good to kind of stay in that bubble. There's a story that I heard about a king and how he deals with prisoners. Don't know the king, don't know the time frame, but the prisoners that were going to death sentence, sorry to be morbid, but I had a choice. They could face the death sentence head on, or they could open the door. The door, capital T, capital D. This door had burn marks, it had scratch marks, it had bite marks, and naturally, all the prisoners chose certain death. Until this one person came along, and this king in its entire reign had never seen anybody go through this door. And the person steeled himself and opened the door, expecting the worst, and all he felt was a cool breeze. It was the door to the outside. And he turned to the king and said, "Is this a joke?" And the king said, "No. Any person who chooses an unknown death versus a certain one deserves my respect." And he was left free. I feel like we all know someone who went off to go do a mega solo hike or went to go wrestle lions for a year. Like, they're just so ambitious and so spontaneous. You have those people that you know of, right? You might think that they're going in blind to these things. But I feel like, again, bullet points, not on point, it's fine. When you're going in blind to something, you're not actually going in blind. You're just going without, you might say they're going without foresight. But to me, going in blind is going with set expectations, with a set mindset that it must go this way. I have to have it. Going blind is going with faith. It's going with an attitude of whatever happened will happen. And you might think, well, that person that goes wrestles lions for a year, just spontaneously, that seems like courage. It doesn't seem like faith. And sure, there's a little bit in there, but I figured I'd just clear the air. Courage has a more forward intent. It's directed at something. You muster it up, and then you do the thing, and then it's gone. You might use it to do something dangerous or step outside your comfort zone, but you use faith to continue doing that dangerous thing, knowing it'll pan out. And if it doesn't, it's okay too. And you say, well, Dustin, that sounds like integrity. you're right, it does sound like integrity. But to tease the two apart, I would think that integrity is the degree of effort you put into maintaining something. It's like a track record for your motivation. And there's a gradient for integrity, right? You can be mildly integrity, but faith is the notion that, say, going to the gym will result in you becoming healthier. And it's not on a gradient. It's not measured in degrees. It's not halfway. Faith isn't done halfway. It's like trust. Once it's broken, you can't have full confidence in that toy that just broke, right? In that car that just, So you can go to the gym and have amazing integrity and consistency, but if you don't have faith in it, you're just effectively going to the gym just to go to the gym. You can be the most loyal person there, but if you don't have faith in it, you're just empty. Versus, what if the flip side? Like, if you have really poor integrity, but you have a lot of faith in the gym, you might go once a month, but while you're at the gym, it's the best feeling ever. You know you're doing your body good. You know that doing this is for you. You have confidence in it. But Jesper, you just said faith is an all or nothing thing, and you can't have halfway faith. But the quote said it's an on again, off again thing. That seems a little bullet points again. This is just going to be a trend, all right? Just bear with me. But I just kind of contradict myself, seemingly. What about turbulence and doubt? That's kind of a good segue. I'm going to present to you 3 different attitudes, and I just want to have you think of what the difference between them are. This is going to work, because I know it is, and it's got to work because I know it is. It has to work out, right? I'm confident. I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try anyway. I don't know. I'll go through it, though. Is this going to work? How can I improve? What more can I do? So, what's the difference between these, and which is the best for longevity? You might think of that first one of overconfidence, like, yeah, this is going to work, right? Remember, you got that friend that goes in Russell's lines and just goes in not blind, goes into faith. Remember how I reworked the definition? This is an example of someone that goes in blind to something with set expectations. Oh, this is going to work. It has to work. I don't think that's great for longevity, right? Sure, it might get you through it, but what about the second one? I don't think this is going to work out, but I'm trying it anyway. That's like the attitude of the person with a lot of integrity, but not a lot of faith to go to the gym. They're doing it, but they're not doing it. So that leaves the third one. Is this really going to work? How can I improve? What can I do? I would categorize one as very confident, overly confident maybe, defeated and discouraged, and then intrigued and questioning. To argue further against the overly confident one, I would say that the first person is too content with their faith. Now, I'm not saying you can't be perfectly blissful with your faith, but even the most experienced yogis and pastors and rabbis learn something new about their faith every day, even if they have their whole entire scripture memorized. They don't memorize it and like, okay, see you guys later. Like, I'm done. No, they find situations and scenarios to apply these scriptures to every day. And not even in a religious context. If your faith is walking in the morning every day, your morning walk, you learn something new every day about that walk if you pay attention. And that's why asking questions and doubting your faith is so integral, because if you're asking questions, you're learning. Does that make sense? Ask questions. And have faith in your faith. Go openly. Go in blind. Don't go in blind, but go in blind. You with me? So that brings us to how do we get sidetracked? What does Bhakti Yoga have to say about how we can stay on track with faith? And I'm not talking about the adherence to a religion, the integrity of your beliefs and goals. I'm also talking about the sense of letting go and trusting the direction you're going without knowing who you are, the mapless journey. We're going to do a little exercise. And it's a silent exercise, but I'm going to be creating something in your mind. Music. Oh yeah, sure. I also want to make. Yeah. No. Oh, you just put it on top of the thing. Oh, sorry. And then you just put the light in there. Sorry. So what I want you to do is use this sound to create a scene in your head. Close your eyes, and using the principle that sound carries consciousness, construct a sort of consciousness in your head. Transform and solidify this vision, adding your own sounds and characteristics. Just get lost for a second. So, as a whole, we kind of tuned out this room, right? The people around us, maybe the entire world for a minute or two, inside our consciousness, inside that scene. We got lost in the illusion and the temporary dream that we built ourselves. And in Bhakti Yoga, this is similar to how we get lost in the illusion of material things and sensory pleasures, and the pleasures and pain they bring us. We tune out the spiritual identity, our soul, and instead of for a minute or two, sometimes it's in our entire life that we tune out our spiritual life, our spiritual self, our soul. And it's this getting lost in our senses that steers us away from faith and the spiritual practice. There's a quote from the Bhagavad Gita. For him who's conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Yoga, as defined by Srila Prabhupada, means controlling the senses. And the entire premise of all yogas is to control the senses, the mind, and let intelligence guide us. And so how do we lose sight of faith? How do we get sidetracked? Yes, I just stressed that we let the senses control us, but what are practical examples of this that would draw us away? Say you maybe have a tragedy in the family, or you get a promotion, you're just high on life, you get distracted. Both are very real and might happen to us. It gets kind of throws a spike in the railroad track. And you might be tempted to withdraw and cope, or the opposite, go out and cope. But the truth is that you have a choice. You always have a choice. Something impactful in your life has the capability to steer you away, but it also has the capability to steer you into faith. Whether that's going to the gym, going to church, going to the temple, by taking your usual morning walk or evening walk, something that you have faith in, that you believe in, that does something for you. You have a choice. But how do we gain it back? Say you're having one of those days. Life is just throwing you a real curveball. How do you counter it? How do you not let it sidetrack you from your faith? And I don't have an answer for you. See you later. Bye. No, I'm. To be honest, that's up to you. How you counter it is up to you, but I can tell you how to prevent it and deal with it long term. Practice. We all heard it. You didn't think I was going to prescribe a one-time use medication with free shipping. Call this number in the next 5 minutes. No, it's practice. And just like practicing anything else, practicing the right choice makes it easier. Just like a car going down a dirt path. Slowly the channels get worn down until it's actually harder to go on the beaten path. And in Bhakti, we call this consistent practice, sadhana. Choosing the right thing, refusing material pleasure when you're tempted to isn't the only thing, though. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people, community, is essential. You'll naturally seek those people out and find yourself attracted to them when you develop your faith. And you've probably experienced that. You know who your people are, even if you've never met them, right? And it's like an engine. The more spiritual practice you feed yourself, the faster that faith engine goes. It's hard to stop that engine sometimes. That's good. Or you can think of faith as a currency. It's the only thing you have to spend for increasing your spiritual practice. And an amazing thing is that your spiritual progression never regresses. It's like muscle memory. You never really lose it. Even if it feels like it, your progress is always, if you make it 2% and you resume it 20 years later, you're still at 2%. if you hop on a bike, sure those first few pedals might be a little squirrely, but you'll get point A to point B. So, my goal with this presentation is not to preach and recruit you to Bhakti Yoga. I'm merely to tell you about it because once you start integrating these values, chanting the mantras, you'll start to feel the benefits and seek more on your own. And you can, the best part about faith is that you can apply this presentation to any part of your life in faith. But mantra meditation brings so many benefits to people, ranging from people who are trying to achieve a breakthrough and understanding higher purpose, or just trying to relax and take a pause on the going ons of life, or trying to find a community of compassionate, loving, and understanding human beings. And the beauty of faith, again, is that everyone has faith. No one is left without it. What you do with it, how you interpret it, and where you put it is up to you. But you still have it, and it wants to grow. It really wants to grow. All you have to do is feed it, like that seed that I was saying earlier. Water that seed. And if you don't know where to go, reach out. Find your community. Water that seed. Doing something is better than nothing. And faith isn't something that you keep locked up and tapped into when you need to. It's something that you have an endless supply of. And people notice it. Thank you. No, I'm not great with off-the-cuff stuff, but if you have questions, please fire away. Man, I must have hit all the bullet points then. All right. Yeah,
What was your journey, and perhaps you touched on this a little bit, but what was your journey with faith? You typically don't find a lot of people who are in their 20s or just entering life who have faith. It's not a concept that even really comes into mind for most. Why did you start to realize that I need to develop faith, or how did your faith develop?
I've always had an attitude of whatever will happen, and I just describe myself as kind of we'll go with the flow person, but I didn't realize that was faith until I started doing this presentation. And that was the greatest thing I ever discovered, is that I didn't realize I had such a well of faith. I'll go out of my way to do things I don't need to do. And I wanted to grow. It wanted to grow. And so I just fed it. I watered it. And I found you guys. Any questions? Got one more. You got one? Go ahead.
I was curious as to what.
For the people online people, so they could hear.
You said that doubt was an integral part of
Mhm.
faith. And I was just curious to hear one doubt you might have had, or that you might have overcome
Mm-hmm.
in your path of faith.
Good one. I think one that comes to mind is if I don't do it for a couple days, if I just kind of forget about, like, am I a bad person? Does Krishna does not like me anymore? And the answer is no. And I'm gonna be honest, I still struggle with that, and it's probably gonna be a struggle for, maybe not a struggle, but it's something that crosses my mind. And I came to realize that that fact that your spiritual progression never regresses really helped me kind of sit down and be like, okay, if I make the right choice and my spiritual progression never regresses, then doubt isn't that doubt isn't valid. Does that make sense? Answer your question? Cool. Any last ones? Cool. I think we'll switch it over.
Thank you so much, Jasper. And like Jasper said, we have one final kirtan for the night before we move to the best part, which is the food. So, almost there. I know I can smell it sitting over here, so I'm patiently waiting. So, again, a quick 22-second transition. We'll ask everybody who plays an instrument or sings or does something of some sort to come back to the front, and we'll get you mic'd up. And if you would like, you can take a stretch break. We don't want you meditating on how bad your feet hurt. We want you to meditate properly.
Once we stop and they start, you just want to do your thing. Or no, like play while everybody else is gone. And it'll work out.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Madhuri Govinda Jaya Jaya Haribol. Thank you so much for all the support. This is my second Kirtan ever. We love you all so much. Thanks for bearing with me. Good. I think Ian has some announcements for us.
Yes, I was just thinking about how today we've had a lot of firsts. We had Isa lead a Kirtan for the first time I think. We had Jasper lead Kirtan for the second time, give a talk for the first time. We had Sia come and do Kirtan at Bhakti Studio for the first time. We had Madhav on the drum come and play Mridanga at the Bhakti Studio for the first time. And we have our most senior member, Arav, who's been coming for the time. So this is our first video. And finally, a big round of... Yes, sorry.
I'm Tina.
Tina. I think this is the second time she's singing. I saw her sing for the first time on a live stream. Thank you. And also a big round of applause to all of you, our Kirtan singers, chanters, and dancers.
Any first timers here today?
Yeah.
Who are the first timers? Yay!
And first, I also wanted to thank some of the volunteers who are the hearts and the hands behind today's event. They help with everything from transporting food here or even cooking the food. So we have Nima, Shama, Prerna, Vivek, and Sana. So a big round of applause for them. We also had, I don't know where she's at, we had Sri Kunda join us for the first time. She's joining our social media team, so she's going to be helping out there. I don't know where she's at, but she's here somewhere. She's a little small. Speaking of which, if you want to get involved at Bhakti Studio, we have tons of volunteer opportunities. We have social media, graphic design, audio and video. As you saw, I was juggling a bunch of weird tablet-looking things. You can play an instrument, your voice counts as an instrument, or even if you want to help with event logistics. And you know, at the airport, if they say, see something, say something. If you see anything that you think can be improved, or you want to bring a skill you have, say something, because we'd love to hear about it. And some final announcements we have thank you so much. We have an India retreat, January 11th to the 23rd. Some of you are signing up for it, but it's going to be in this wonderful place known as the Govardhan Eco Village. It's about 2 hours out of Mumbai, and it's a UN award-winning eco-sustainable village. Some very famous people have gone and stayed there when they feel like they need to disconnect from a world that's always connected. So if you would like to learn more, you could talk to Nupur. She'll wave her hand. She is a great person to talk to for this retreat.
I am planning to take the same flight over as well.
Oh, so the retreat will start in Seattle.
Yes.
Okay, and then we're launching a new series, or rather it's a relaunch of a series that we did a long time ago called the Values Lab. And, sorry, the text is a little small, but I'll explain it. Or maybe I can zoom in. Ah, technology. So, I'll show you the pictures and I'll talk about it. But essentially, it's a lab to help you experiment with values in your life. And it's run by Jay, and he makes it super fun. You almost feel like you're in elementary school again, just doing fun things. Oftentimes as we grow up, we stop asking why or how. So this lab really encourages you to ask those questions. And these are the different labs that will happen in the Values Lab. There's Tired of Pretending, the Authenticity Lab, the Resilience Lab, the Compassion Lab, the Self-Mastery Lab, the Gratitude Lab, and there's like so many more that Jay has come up with, but this is the schedule for for now. So it'll be happening every Friday at the Rugby Studio. So if you want to come participate in the Values Lab, it'll be a really fun time. I was there for the first time, and we got to play that game with the balloons that you play as kids, where you try to keep it up in the air as long as possible. And somehow there were so many lessons tied to it. So there's that. And this is the upcoming Kirtan schedule. There's Kirtan this Saturday, next Saturday, the Saturday after that, the Saturday after that, the Saturday after that, and the Saturday after that. We'll see you there. So we have Kirtans every Saturday. After the 18th, we have 2 special Kirtans. On the 25th, we have a candles and lights Kirtan, which around that time we have the Festival of Lights, otherwise known as Diwali. So we'll have an amazing candle-lit Kirtan. And then we also have, on November 1st, the day after Halloween, a spooky Kirtan. So we'll have spooky Kirtan tunes to hopefully get you into the mood of Halloween. Yeah, Jasper. And these are some of our upcoming events. We have an Ayurveda cooking workshop tomorrow, 2 to 4 p.m. You can get your hands dirty, rather your stomach cleaned by the cooking of Ayurveda. And this is an oil-free cooking workshop. So you're not just going to be watching someone cook, you get to actually cook and most importantly, eat your creations. And then on Thursday, October 2nd, we have a gong sound meditation with Stephanie Wood. She does a gong event the first Thursday of every month. If you don't feel entirely full from all the food that you eat during the Ayurveda workshop, we have a milkshake lab on October 9th. It's a Thursday. And then the Values Lab starts on October 17th. So lots of fun things happening in the month of October. Yeah, if you were here last week, you know how bad I am with dates. You know, we went back and forth everywhere. That being said, just some final logistics for the food in order to avoid any collisions and lawsuits. We go out this door and we come back in through the entrance where we'll have some wonderful volunteers waiting to serve you. And that being said, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being part of this community. And if this is your first time, welcome to the community. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.